It's fantastic. I just want to it is Asanga Lankapurage, right? Since we have two Asankas. Thank you. Because, I think it's lovely to listen to it. Even if you don't want to read it, when you listen to it, you absorb a lot. And I want you to particularly after this lesson, if you can read chapter 10, or if you listen to chapter 10, it is fantastic. The chapter 10 is called Bits and Pieces. I haven't never seen such a well-written chapter on writing, because it covers a whole lot. All what we have been talking about, all what we are going to talk about, this covers little mistakes we make, little, kind of ambiguities we make. How do you make your writing as clear as, a crystal? That's the whole purpose. Because this author, as you would see, is very well quoted in many documents. He's such a very well accepted author. All right. So 3 things I want to do today very quickly. Also, I just want to make an announcement. If you can look at the portal, I uploaded a paragraph just to work on it today with you, because there are 2 paragraphs I want to work, because that's the real application. All what we talk about, we must apply. So that's the whole purpose of doing it. How do you make our writing very precise, very succinct, very clear, and probably very concise? That's what I want to do. So let's see, all what we do today, we will try and get to that point. Maybe around, we will leave about half an hour to do both exercises, because that's what we finally do. Anyway, I'm told that you had a rollicking time with my younger colleague, Mr. Jitendra Gulathirakan, right? You had a good time, right? And I'm glad, because both of us try to somehow make communication something very practical and applicable, so that you can use it through its exam-oriented, all right? All learning subjects have an exam, but these are just practical things that we talk about. So let's see what we will do today. Quickly, I will take you through this parallelism. Since I had introduced it, I'm not going to talk about it very much, but I'll just go through very quickly. All these is for you to keep with you, but let me go to the main stuff. I'm going to start with, all right. What you mean by parallelism is that a sentence, when written, if you have a number of parts, each part must be of the same type. Why? Because the reader immediately glues onto it. And then it's easy for the reader to understand what you are saying. Parallelism is a technique that has developed over a long period of time. But even if you look at old stuff like literature written by Shakespeare and people like that, they always maintain parallelism. Always. Because this is a fundamental thing in writing, that the reader is always in focus. So you are trying to keep the reader all the time comfortable. That's the whole purpose. So this is what I have been trying to tell you. Put nouns with nouns. Let's go through one by one very quickly. It is to say you have similar ideas expressed in similar ways, in other words. So you have a sentence, I enjoy basketball more than playing video games. How will you correct this? It is grammatically wrong because it's not parallel. How will you make it parallel? Let me then give you the answer. You have 2 things. I say I enjoy basketball. Basketball is a noun. The other one is playing video games is a verbal phrase. It's not a noun. So how will you make that a noun? There are two ways of
Video
correcting.
games.
I enjoy basketball more than video games.
Excellent. Now, how will you make it? There is another way of correcting it. How will you do that?
I enjoy playing basketball more than playing video games.
Exactly. You can even drop playing then. I enjoy playing basketball more than video games. So you whatever way you want to do it, it's easy, very easy. Then we come to let me take you to the next one. On our anniversary, we ate, danced, and were singing. Mind you, these are you don't think twice when you write a sentence like that. But very careful business writers, professional writers will always maintain parallelism. That's what I want you to learn. We will look at some of the more complex ones later. How will you correct this? These are all verbs. And you verbs, you have to use the same tense. What is the tense that you will use here?
Past tense. On our anniversary, we ate, danced, and sang.
And sang. Or give me another way of doing it.
We were eating, dancing, and singing.
Exactly. So you have two ways of correcting it. So let me do the next. How will you do the next one? Now we have adjectives. That's why I wanted you to take a look at the parts of speech the language is made of. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and all that. That's why we started with it. Just to tell you, you have adjectives here, but one is an adjective, the other one is a noun. So how will you correct this? My history class was both interesting and
Challenging.
Challenging.
challenging. Exactly. So that's the whole idea of making your sentences parallel. Writing in parallel means maintaining the same kind of part. If you have used one part, you use the same kind of part in the rest of the sentences. So let's see. There are more complex ones. We will get to more complex one as we go on. Now we have two or more items joined by and or. So one, if you are using one kind of idea, the other kind of idea also must be the same. So I have, when I walk the dog, I like to listen to music and talking to friends on the phone. How will you correct this one?
While I walk the dog, I like to listen to music and talking to friends on the phone.
Oh no. Wait, I like to listen to music and
Talking to friends on the phone.
talking is of a different type.
Talk to friends,
listen
I
is
think. Talk to
talk.
friends.
to
Talk to friends.
on the phone. So that has to be very carefully looked at. Or you could say, when I walk the dog, I like listening to music and talking to friends. So same thing. The word to listen. Learn these also, since we are talking about business English, why not? When you say to listen, the technical term that we use for this is called the infinitive. Infinitive of any verb is when you add to. So either you can have the infinitive or you can have the participle, which is when you add ing. When you add ing, it's called the participle. So you have that. Then the next one, the professor.
Sorry,
Yes.
sir. The first part in that sentence, can't you change that as well?
Meaning?
Say,
You mean-
when I am walking the dog,
Yeah. Okay.
I like listening to music and talking to friends on the phone. That's wrong.
Perfect. No, it's not wrong, because what you are saying is you are talking about a continuous activity. That is why you're saying when I was walking the dog. Or when you say when I walk the dog, that is in general, right? Present tense. So both are right. Both are
Yeah,
right.
both.
Give me a second. So that when you say, please distinguish between the two. When you say, when I am walking the dog, that means you are in the act of doing that. But when you say, when I walk the dog, then you are referring to a particular time. When I was walking the dog or when I am walking the dog, when you use continuous tense, you are particular instance you are talking about. When you say, when I walk the dog, that is in general. Every time you walk the dog, that's what it means. So both sentences are right. But what I was trying to tell you is the two parts. What you are trying to do, listening to music and talking to friends, must be the same. Now this one, the professor assigned a chapter to read, practices to do, and writing a paper. How will you correct this? Obviously, you must see the difference here,
A chapter
Professor,
to read.
maybe the last one,
right?
a paper to write.
Paper to write, paper to write. So I'm sure you have got the hang of this, but I want to take you to more complex ones where we generally make mistakes. We will go to this, but it is through this gradual process that I will take you there, right? So you will easily see a chapter to read, then you have practices to do, and a paper to write. They are all of the same type. You have a noun and then you have an infinitive with the verb, right? Let's go to the
Can't
next.
you say to practice?
Please. Yeah.
You can say the professor assigned a chapter to read, to practice, and to write a paper. That's wrong? In the middle?
That's wrong because you know that there are three things here the professor wanted you to do. He wanted you to read a chapter, so therefore a chapter to read. Then
Yeah.
he wanted certain practices, meaning maybe some exercises or whatever, practices to do. And then the last one was he also wanted you to write a paper. So all these things should be of the same type. So that is why you have a chapter to read. You have the noun first and the verb next. Then the
Okay,
next one,
understood.
practices the noun and the verb to do. And the last one, a paper, and then the last one to write.
Right.
Okay? Right.
Yeah.
So we are looking at it from a very what shall I say? It's a very I'm not getting the word. Let me. I was trying to say something. Let me. All right. Now then, you have parallelism in comparisons. I'm comparing. This is where you need to really guard yourself. Comparisons often use the word than or as, isn't it? That's what we normally use. Make sure that the items on either side of those words are parallel. So if you have one word before then and one word after then, they must be of the same type. So we have one here. Driving downtown, look at this very carefully, as fast as the bus. So now that's a very inconsistent sentence because one is driving. The other one you are saying it's a vehicle, the bus. You can't compare a vehicle and an act. How will you correct this?
Catching a bus.
Taking the bus or catching the bus or whatever. So driving downtown is as fast as taking the bus or catching the bus. So do you get my point? The first one is driving downtown, that is you are going in your own car. The other one is you are taking the bus. So both are of the same type. The next, to admit a mistake. Now we are using than, earlier we used as, the comparison. To admit a mistake is better than denying it. How will you correct this?
Admit and deny, I think, or admitting or
Admitting.
denying.
Admitting the mistake.
So give me the sentences. That's good for all of us to hear.
Admitting a mistake is better than denying it.
Perfect. The other way?
Admit a mistake rather or something deny it.
No, to admit a mistake, you maintain
Okay.
that. Then the next one is better than to deny it.
Or to deny it. Okay.
So you are using the infinitive. Earlier you are using the participle. Admitting a mistake is better than. So the your corrections will be to admit a mistake is better than to deny it. Both are of the same type. The other one is admitting a mistake is better than denying it. So do you see so far how a sentence is very consistent, that each part is similar to the other? If you have one part or two parts or more, all these parts must be of the same language type. If they are nouns, all should be nouns. If they are verbs, they all should be verbs and of the same tense also. If it is past tense, all are in the past tense. If it is past continuous, all are in the past continuous. Now you have comparisons. So if you are comparing an activity, then both sides of the word as or than must be an activity. If you are using a noun like the bus, then you must use the same thing on either side. So that's what we have been now doing. Let's take some more difficult stuff. Here we do another one. Sometimes you need to add or delete a word or two to make the parts of a sentence parallel. Now look at this. A tour package is less expensive. Now, a tour package is a noun. Package is a noun. The word tour is an adjective. The word a is also an adjective, which is an indefinite article, is less expensive than, but you are comparing it with an activity, arranging every travel detail yourself. So it is not a good comparison. It's not parallel. How will you make it parallel?
Self-arranged travel detail. We can put
A tour package is less expensive than
self-arranged travel detail.
self-arranged travel. Self-arranged travel. What shall you say? Tour package is less expensive.
Or arranging all or entire something like that.
What? Why don't you look at the? Why
we-
don't you look at the first part? Because
we
the
can
second
say-
part.
Tour package.
Sorry.
Taking
Yeah.
a tour package is less than. Taking a tour
Buying
package
a
is
tour
less.
package or taking a tour package is less expensive than arranging every travel detail yourself. So you are making it similar. Now look at this, the correction. Buying a tour package, I use the word buying, you can use any other participle. Buying a tour package is less expensive than arranging every travel detail yourself, which is the easier way of correcting it. So just a word added. When you say a tour package, what are you going to do with that tour package? You have to buy that because you are comparing it with arranging something. So please get this thoroughly. Yes, go ahead.
Can we, like, keeping the sentence as it is, can we add something like arranging your travel details yourself, like arranging all your travel details yourself? Can we add something or not possible like that?
No, there's no problem. You can do that. But what are we trying to do? You are trying to, this kind of sentence is comparisons. You are comparing two things, right? One is I can either arrange it myself or
Yeah.
I buy a tour package, isn't it?
Okay, if I say a tour package is less expensive than arranging all your travel details yourself, something like
No, then it is not
Okay.
parallel. Because here, the first part, very good, Firaz, you are asking a very important question. The word tour package is a noun. On the other hand, at the other side, you have got a complete activity arranging. So you can't compare a noun and an activity. If it is a noun, it has to be a noun. If it is an activity, it has to be an activity. So it's similar things that you are comparing. It's like,
Professor,
yeah.
I think, Professor, we can, what I want to add what Firas said.
Yeah,
So
sure.
since we have the noun, maybe the arranging, which is a verb, we can, it is arranging is a continuous verb, we can convert it to the noun, right? So then it will be noun to noun, right?
So give me an example. I know you can do
a tour package is less expensive than like
So we have to find something where you travel, you arrange your own thing, right?
personal arrangement or something.
Let's say, yes, a tour package is less expensive than, but that sentence, if you do that, you lose the crux, the meaning.
Crux, yes.
Yeah,
That's true.
what I'm trying to say here is it is much easier to go and buy a tour package than sit and look
Arrange
at.
itself, yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
in that kind of situation, learn to make sure that your parts are similar. Now, obviously, all these things are done when you start writing. Nothing is done in isolation. Everything that I've been talking about, pronouns, subject verb agreement, everything, these are the mechanics of writing. Writing is your job. No question about it. You and I will write as long as we live, right? As long as we are doing jobs, we will write. So when you write, use these techniques. That's what I want you to understand. So this is a technique that will make your writing grammatically perfect. That's the whole purpose of doing it. So parallelism comes in as a very nice way of expressing your ideas so that the reader understands what exactly you want to say. So here, very nicely you are comparing. Let's go to some others also. Let's see. I have, let me tell you, the sale price of the shoes. Now that's a noun. Sale price of the shoes is as low as, there you are comparing, paying the regular price for 2 pairs. Now that's not parallel. One is sale price, other one is paying the regular price. How will you correct this?
Remove paying verb.
Yeah. So what is
The sale price of the shoes is as low as the regular price of 2 pairs.
exactly. So that's a very simple thing. Earlier one we added a word to make it parallel. This one we are dropping a word. As long as both sides of the word as or than, you have this or that, is the same. So graphically, please remember, I just want to say, here it is, if I may use this graphically. In comparison, you have as or than. Obviously, there are two things you are comparing. So you have one on this side and one on this side, and one on this side and one on this side. So if this is a kind of a, say, let me put a shape, this also must be of the same shape. Otherwise, you can't compare. If this is this shape, this also must be this shape. Either you can say this might be bigger, that's a different matter. Let me put it that way. This might, I want to make it kind of show it big, but let me make it very clear that, so I'm comparing same shapes. This is bigger than this, but I can't go and compare something like this with something like this. Do you get my point? So graphically, I'm trying to show you that parallelism is this, that everything that you are looking at is of the same kind of type, right? So in one you are comparing squares, in the other one you are comparing triangles, but you can't compare a square with a triangle, right? Okay, let's see some more. There are some more difficult stuff. This is the most difficult. We need to understand this thoroughly. When we write, look at all the writings that you have done over a period of time. If you take your mind back, how many times would you have taken two entities and say both and? Also, you would have said neither nor, or you would have said rather than, or you would have said either or. Most of the time we will write not only but also, or we will also say whether or. So these are what are called pairs. They are called paired words, but there is a nice word for it. They are called correlative conjunctions. Conjunctions are words which connect sentences, which connect nouns. When you say and, but, for, yet, so, they are all conjunctions, what we learned right at the beginning. These are correlative conjunctions. They are no doubt connecting, but they are also comparing. So correlation, there is some kind of relationship that these words are building. So let's see. These words they link two equal elements and show the relationship between them. That's what they do. So we had earlier than and as purely to compare. Let's see what how they come up with. Now you have very interesting sentence. These are paired words, which these are the simplest word that you would use. I want two things. I want freedom. And if it is freedom, what is the other word you would use?
Wealth.
Wealth. But I can also be, I want to be wealthy. Then what will you use on this side?
To be free.
To be free. So exactly, you have got it. I'm so glad that you have understood this whole issue of parallelism. Writing in parallel means your writing is very readable. Please remember that. Because immediately the reader gets the point what you're trying to say. Otherwise, if you have one noun and the other one of a different form, it is difficult. So Bruce wants both freedom and to be wealthy is not parallel. You are using both and they are paired words. So obviously the correct one would be Bruce wants both freedom, which is a noun, and wealth, which is another noun. Or I could say Bruce wants both to have freedom and to be wealthy. So that's a kind of a situation. Earlier we had a noun, here I have a situation to have freedom and to be wealthy. So these are again paired words, and then we will go through this few paired words so that you will always understand this very well. Next one, I have another. He can neither fail the course. The first part is fail the course. That's a verb, fail the course. And quitting his job is also impossible. That's a very wrong sentence. How will you correct it? I have neither, and then I have to have no. How will you correct this? Neither, no. You will add. One is fail the course. Other one will be?
Quit the job.
Quit the job. Quit the
Quit.
job.
So here it is. He can neither fail the course nor quit his job. Now that is extremely important in your writing, making your writing very, very correct. Nothing better than having parallelism incorporated into your writing. So I'm taking you through all the possible errors that people can make. Let's see. Then I have some more. Swimming in the ocean is both tough and a challenge. Now, please remember, both and they are paired. So I have two situations. One is tough, the other one is challenge. The word tough is a adjective, but the word challenge is a noun. How will you make it similar?
Swimming in the ocean is both
Challenging.
tough and challenging.
Hard and challenge.
Yes, swimming in the ocean is both tough and
Challenging.
challenging. Excellent. So it's so easy. It's so easy, right? Swimming in the ocean is both tough and challenging. So you see the similarity. Let me take you to the next one. You must either, now look at the two parts in this sentence. Obtain a C in the course, or taking it again will be the consequence. So how will you correct this one? One is you have to use one and make the other one also similar. One is obtain a C in the course. Other one?
Or face the consequences.
Or face the consequences, or take it again. Or take it again. So both are right. Both are right. You must either obtain a C in the course or face the consequences. Fine. Or you say you must either obtain a C in the course or take it again. So both and. So either or. These are the things that we will. Next, I would rather work hard. Rather work hard. So that's one. The other one is and pass. So rather work hard and pass. That's one. than to repeat the course. What will you say?
Repeating the course.
Don't
I
bring
would
in the
rather
words
work
repeat. Yes, I
I
would
would
rather work hard and pass
than repeat the course.
than repeat the course. You
Repeat the
don't
course,
need
yes.
to. You don't need to, because then it is completely different, which is called the infinitive. So very fine points in writing. Fine points in writing. So you gentlemen and ladies have this lovely book on writing. Well, this is the best book that I have ever read on writing. I have read a lot. Probably I have studied, but then never a lovely book like this. So listen to those audios that anyway, thank you so much, because I also never knew that there was an audio book. So I already
Yes.
listened about 4 or
In,
5.
in fact, Professor, I found another nice way to read this one, because I found that audio and the book similar, it is together. So which
Yeah.
I will share with the team later. So I've
Oh.
already read almost half of the book with that. Is very speed, because as a
Beautiful.
working professional, we need to find easy way to get through these things. Yeah,
Get through these things and absorb the idea. Absorb the idea.
absolutely. Yeah, that's very effective. I will share with the team later.
So thank you very much. This is kind of, I feel like forming a writing club among all my PIM students. So that, all these things can be shared. All the time you will be writing. All the time
Yeah.
all the time you will be speaking. What more could you have in life than to be a good communicator? What you are saying, everybody understands and they love it. What you are writing, everybody loves to read. These are the two things that you should try to aim. So that whenever you write something, number one, grammatically correct. Number two, it's clear. Number three, it's concise. These three things, if they are incorporated into your writing, then you have achieved what you want to achieve. So, grammatically correct. This is what I'm trying to take you to. Clear. This is what I'm trying to take you to. These are all the mechanics that you use. The little techniques, right? Okay. So then we come to here. Another one. Betty has intelligence, honesty, and she is funny. Now, how will you make this parallel? It's a poor sentence, because you have adjectives. It talks about Betty, intelligence, and honesty. The other one is completely a different sentence. How will you correct this?
Betty is intelligent, honest, and funny.
Betty is intelligent, honest, and funny. So that is one way of writing it. Or you can write Betty has intelligence, honesty, and humor. So I would also like to add what you just mentioned. Betty is intelligent, honest, and funny. So you got the idea. Make all three adjectives, right? So, or you have nouns, whatever. Other one is good writing requires you to plan outlines. Obviously, never write without planning an outline. Always have a mind map. Always have a kind of a draft. Put all your thoughts down. Just let it come and then write several drafts and then revise. The final document that you send out of your table is a revised document. All these things are incorporated. Pronoun, subject verb agreement, parallelism, every damn thing that we have been talking about is incorporated, so that it is not only readable, but it's grammatically correct. So how will you correct this? Good writing requires you to three activities: plan outline, write several drafts, and
Revise.
revise. Three. Right, excellent. So we move, very good, excellent. So now we need to, now see, even when you have a list, I left my job for several reasons. You use a colon, because the colon means here they are. We must also learn about punctuation. Unfortunately, we don't have time to look at all those things. Semicolons, the punctuations are, colons, these are very important punctuation marks. The colon here says, I am giving you the reasons. That's what we are trying to say. So the reasons are, the pay was poor. That's a sentence, no problem. The second one, long hours, it's not a sentence. It's just an adjective and a noun. Third one, I found the work tedious. Perfect. That's another sentence. The last one was equipment was dangerous. So what is not parallel here, you'll have to make it parallel. How will you make it parallel?
Long working hours.
Yet it is not a sentence, no? You have three sentences. I want to make the long hours also a sentence. Or
Working
you
hours were long.
The hours are too long.
hours are too long. Working hours are too long. Or else I can do it this way. I left my job for several reasons. I'm only giving the reasons. No, you only need the reasons. Poor pay, long hours, you keep long hours, tedious work, and dangerous equipment. Those are the four reasons why I left my job. So there also you maintain parallelism. So it's not only writing a sentence, please mind you, if you are writing a list, there also you will have to maintain parallelism. Now, where are you going to use these things? I want to take you right to the end of your course. You are going to write a field project report, right? You will have a problem that you will research. You will try to find out, maybe you do fishbone analysis and Fourier analysis and all sorts of things you will be doing once you get to that level. So you will find the causes. Then you will look at some of the literature on that particular topic, and which is called the literature review. And then you will start writing your report. That is where you should be able to apply all what I am talking about. Parallelism, the use of pronouns. So every sentence must have subject-verb agreement, good punctuation marks, short sentences. And the one that I'm going to do today with you is your writing clear and concise? We will do two exercises. That's the purpose of this whole thing. I'm trying to finally take you to that, because that's what you finally do. You are given a draft. How will you make it superb? Everything done very well. Let's see. I have two paragraphs today that I want to do with you. One is having some 187 words. It can be reduced to about 120 words. How will we do it? The other one is some 158 words, which can be reduced to about 80, 90 words, which we will do. So you will do your part and I will just show you, this is what I suggest. See where you can correct, and then that's lot of learning. Right, let's see. Now, all this is parallelism, even when, look at the last one. Last one is a very interesting one. Ask not what your country can do for you. This is what John F. Kennedy in 1961, when he became the president of the United States, in his acceptance speech. Every president makes what is called a speech to the nation, and in the US it's called acceptance speech. See how parallel it is. Ask not what your country can do for you. This has become a very famous saying. Ask what you can do for your country. See the parallelism, how we maintain. Ask not, other one is ask what you can. So those are things that you need to note, how parallelism is maintained. Let's see. Move. Right. Now, what is the sentence which is not parallel here? I'm taking you through various types of things to drive this whole concept of parallelism into your mind.
I wonder whether to make an outline first.
Read all focus carefully.
Right.
Only one sentence which is parallel.
The first one, Professor.
I think it's second
I
one.
wonder whether to make an outline first or I should write the rough draft.
Why do you may
Okay.
say it is the first one? Because look at the first one. I wondered, there are two things he wants to do. To make an outline first. The second one is write the rough draft. So he says to make an outline first. And the second one he says write the rough draft. Where is the word to? But in B, you have both. I wondered whether to make an outline first or to write the rough draft, isn't it? So B is the only sentence which is parallel. Do you get my point?
Can you explain again, Professor?
Okay, now take the first one. I wondered whether, when you use whether, obviously you know there are two things that you're going to do, whether this
Yeah.
or that. One is to make an outline first. To make an outline first. So after the word or, you don't have the word to. The infinitive is not used. It's a complete sentence. Or I should write the rough draft. So obviously the two parts are not parallel. Let's go to B. I wondered whether to make an outline first. That part is there. The second one is or to write the rough draft. Obviously, the two parts are parallel. To make, to write. The third one, I wondered whether to make an outline first. That part is okay. The second one is or writing rough draft. So which is not parallel, which is a participle. Then you come to D. I wondered whether to make an outline first or that I should write a rough draft is a completely a different form of a sentence which is not parallel with the first part. So the only sentence which has two parallel parts would be sentence B. All right. Do you agree? Right? And you understand the point that I'm trying to make, right? When you use particularly words like both and, either or, neither, no, not only but also, please make sure that what you are using, there are two things you are talking when you say not only but also. If you say not only I want to sit, then you have to say but also I want to stand. It must be of the similar type. I want to sit, I want to stand. So here, when you have whether or, you have two parts, whether this or that. So this part and that part must be the same. That's what I was trying to do. Let's do a few exercises, then you will get it. So it's B, right? It is something like this. When parallel structures look like this, if you have all apples similar, if you have something else, they will also be similar, right? Pineapples, right? Let me take you to this one. But not this way. You have two apples and a pineapple, apple, and again, no, they are not parallel structures, non-parallel. All right. Now, this is also something you must learn. Consistency with verbs. Straight down, we'll go to that sentence. The shoplifter, I'm getting into the second box, not the first, top one. Top one gives you the theory. The shoplifter walked quickly toward the front of the store. When a clerk shouts at him, he started to run. Now, that is not a parallel sentence because walked quickly toward the front of the store is a past tense. Then say, when a clerk shouts, that is the present tense. Again, you have past tense, he started to run. So it has to be consistent, the entire sentence. How do we correct it? The shoplifter walks quickly toward the front of the store. I am making it to the present tense. When a clerk shouts at him, he starts to run. The whole sentence is present tense. Or else I can go to the past tense. The shoplifter walked quickly toward the front of the store. When a clerk shouted at him, he started to run. So you can't have part of the sentence in a present tense, and the other part in a past tense, another part past continuous. All that is going to create a non-parallelism in your sentence. Do you get the point that I'm trying to make? Right? All right, let's see. So I think the best way to do is, I'm going to keep this with you, just take a look at it. Look at these sentences. Please correct these sentences. These are not parallel. So I want you to do exercise your knowledge, what you have learned. So what we learned was when you use paired words like both and, not only but also, whether or, either or, neither, no. Whatever you use on one side of those paired words, the other part also must be of the same type. What do I mean by same type? A noun with a noun, verb with a verb. If it is a verb, the same tense. If it is one adjective, the other one also must be an adjective. If you are using to go then the other part also must be to run. If I'm saying going towards, then you have to say walking towards or something like that. So they are of the same type. When you say going, it's a participle. Walking is also a participle. To run is an infinitive. Then you say to walk is another infinitive. So those are the parallel things that you will do. So parallelism is something that you need to know thoroughly so that you will never make a mistake when you write a simple sentence. All right, try these things. We'll take a few minutes and then we'll see how well you do it. let's see. I'll also just show you what I think could be done. Compare it and see. That's the best way to learn, so that you will obviously see if there are any mistakes. I'm sure you can get all these things right. Let's see. So these are the corrections. This is how it is corrected. This committee needs to decide whether the company should reduce its workforce, cut its benefits, or lower workers' wages. So they are all of the same type, parallel. Then we come to Mr. Holloway enjoys reading and playing his guitar at weekends. Enjoys reading and playing his guitar. Two different activities, but they are of the same type. The third, the doctor told Mrs. Franklin that she should either eat less. So you have either or, two things, eat less or exercise more. So they are same type, eat less, exercise more. Then we come to the next. Breaking out of the prison compound, the escapees moved carefully. You have a verb and an adverb. Moved carefully. How? Carefully. Quietly. So that's another adverb. And the third one is quickly, on their feet. So all three are adverbs. Moved carefully, moved quietly, and moved quickly. All three are of the same type. So that is why you call parallelism. Then you come to the next. I have read the book, but I have not watched the movie. I have read the book, that's one, but I have not read the movie. The conjunction but, remember when you use but, there is a kind of opposing weave that you are presenting after but. I have read the book, but I have not watched the movie. So understand and use these things. Deal with a full inbox first thing in the morning. Deal, so that's a verb. Deal with a full inbox, or set aside short periods of time in which to answer email queries. So you have one deal, the other one is set aside. Both are verbs. Both are present tense verbs. Then we come to the next. Swimming in the ocean, now you're using than, so there is a comparison. Swimming in the ocean is much tougher than swimming in a pool. So swimming in an ocean, swimming in a pool. Then you have the next, going for a brisk walk is as beneficial as I told you, when you use as and then you are comparing. Going for a brisk walk is as beneficial to your health as going for a run. So both all similar. Now I come to
Can we put this
Yeah.
way?
Say that again.
Yeah. Walking briskly is as beneficial. Can we put it in that way?
So say that again.
Is it correct? Walking briskly is as beneficial to your health as going for a run.
No, then you are using completely a different one, right?
Okay.
Walking briskly. Or let me write that. I think you're right. That's a good one. Let me. Walking briskly, right? That's what you're saying. Walking briskly. Let me write and see. Briskly is beneficial.
As beneficial.
Oh, exactly. As beneficial to your health. What's the other part that you want to say?
As you're going for a run.
Yeah, it is. Very good. It is. All right. Similar. Very good. Right. Let's see. The next. I would rather work at a second job to pay for a new car than obtain a loan. Rather then that is what you are comparing. So what are you comparing? Work at a second job, other one is obtain a loan. So the comparisons. Then you have how you look in the workplace is just as important as how you behave. Now, behavior would not be correct because how you look, the other one must be how you behave. All right. So that's the idea of parallelism. And I think you have understood very well. Do this on your own. I'm not going to do it now because we have a lot of things to do. I will put up the answers. Right. I will post the answers to the portal and check it out. Yes, Fawaz.
Yeah. If you go to the previous question,
All right.
yeah. In the first question, can
Right.
we think like this way? The
Okay.
committee needs to decide whether the company should reduce its workforce, comma, instead of cut, I will, without cuts its benefit, I will leave that and say benefits, or instead of lower worker wages, because we are saying reduce in the beginning.
So reduce its workforce, benefits, or workers' wages. So you are commonly are using the word reduce, right?
Reduce.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Can we say the
Can-
lower,
okay.
the last one, the lower worker wages? So
Right.
I wrote cuts is benefits or reduce salaries.
Oh, that's okay. No, there's no problem as long as you have used the verb, right? So you have used reduce, you have used cut, you have used lower, and what are you saying? Lower. I didn't get
Reduce
you.
salaries.
Reduce salaries. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Reduce salaries. That's okay.
Professor,
All right.
I have a quick one in number 6.
Yes. Number
In
6.
number 6, yes. Do we really have to put that in which can we omit it and say short periods of time to answer email queries?
Short periods of time, exactly. You don't have to say in which. So that is concise writing. Very good. Deal with a full inbox first thing in the morning or set aside short periods to answer email queries. Excellent. Right?
For the same one, can we say allocate?
Yes, yes, you can. So you have got the point. My attempt was to tell you, use similar parts. So you are using similar parts. So whether you use deal or allocate, that's fine, no problem. All right, set aside, you can drop and say allocate. Allocate short periods of time to answer email queries. Excellent support. That's fine, right? Great. So we move. I will not do this. Please do this because this is you don't do this often. So do this on your own. I will put up the answers. Check it out and see. Right. So these are the answers. I'll put it later. Right. Okay. Now what we will do is to you will have your break now, right? Better, right? Is it
Yeah.
okay to have your break? Right. Let's move and then come back after about 10-15 minutes. Fine. All right. Okay, let's in the balance nearly about 1 hour, 45 minutes or 2 hours. Let's see whether I want to take you through two very quick presentations. One, how do you make sure that your writing is effective? A few checkpoints. These checkpoints we will go through. I'm not going to take all, but I'll just mention some. But we need to do a few exercises so that, you know, it really sticks in your mind as to what you need to be doing. This is called the 7 C's of writing. The 7 C's would be a very famous topics that we are talking about. Now, if you take a little bit of time to listen to this, I was just going through the audio book and the print book also together. It's a lovely thing because they go through paragraphs. Very nice. It's on writing. If you go through this, you will understand that writing is a real art, but it can be mastered. Anyone can master, provided you understand the essence of it. So what it says is, look at this last line. Especially in a business environment where time is precious, this is what is important. Don't bury your important points under unnecessary verbiage, meaning don't make your sentences too roundabout constructions. Don't make it too long, but you have to say it clearly and pointedly. That's the whole purpose of this particular. So what we are going to look at is, I'll just explain what the 7 C's of writing would be. To be able to write with brevity, meaning briefly. To be able to write with clarity. Let's do a few exercises. In fact, 3 I want to do. Ensure that messages composed by you are not misunderstood. That's a critical thing in our writing. Ensure your messages are persuasive, meaning you should, through your writing, be able to influence the reader to agree with your point of view. That's the purpose of writing, whether you write a letter, a memo, a report, whatever. If the reader cannot be influenced in the sense that you're trying to get him to buy your argument, that's in short. The last one is, we have what are called misplaced and dangling modifiers, which we will somehow avoid when writing. Let's see. So these are the few things. Just look at this. This comes from research. 124.5 billion business emails went this way, that way in 2018. So you can just imagine the numbers that go. So they need to be well written so that readers don't have to ask, no clarifications to be made, to be very clear. Now, one of the things that I tell my audiences, like you, whoever I come into contact with, I always say, you write a letter and then we write if you need any clarifications, please contact the undersigned. That is almost committing suicide. So you are admitting that your letter is not clear. Your correspondence has so many mistakes, so many misunderstandings. So never say this. My way of saying it, and I keep on saying this, if you need further information, please let me know. please contact me. Further information is completely different to having further clarifications. Clarifications means what you have written is not clear. So therefore, please ask me. So you are admitting in your letter. So never say this. Never say, please contact me for further clarification. Certainly for further information. Further information, that's courtesy, no doubt. So let's see what we need to be looking at. So straightforward. Business communication, two points. One, goals oriented. Normally people would write goal oriented. I would say goals oriented because there are so many goals in a business communication. The second point is that it is receiver centric, meaning it is not sender centric, it is receiver centric. You must prepare whatever you write thinking who will read this, who will benefit out of this, who will act on this. Would there be many audiences? 1, 2, or 3? In fact, in this book you will see the third chapter. First chapter is very interesting. First chapter is about transaction. Second chapter is simplicity. Third chapter is clutter, meaning we have so many things that we can drop. The fourth chapter is style. The fifth chapter is called the audience. So you need to do a little bit of research on the audience. Who are the people who will read this? Are they highly educated or are they normal people? So in a business setting, critical that you pitch it to a level where a normal person would understand. If you are writing to a technical group, that's a completely different thing. Then you can use jargon, not otherwise. So receiver-centric is very important in business communication. Now, 3 things. Number 1, there is what is called the instrumental meaning in your message. What is it? A message that says what you want to accomplish by communicating. So that's the crux of the message. That's the crux of the message. Message that says what you want to accomplish by communicating. Then you go to the relational meaning in any message that you write. Message that says something about your relationship with your receiver. So the words are very important. If you know your receiver very well, you will be less formal. If you are not known to the receiver, obviously you will sound very formal. You are representing an organization, you will very carefully use words. So those are things that you need to be doing. The third one is also very critical. Part of the message that says something about you as a communicator and as a business professional. So that's why I said that is where all our learning comes. Am I using a grammatically correct message? The moment the reader sees a grammatically incorrect message, please take it from me, the reader gets put off, completely put off. So please remember these 3 things. Instrumental meaning means the real message that you want to convey. Relational meaning, to whom are you writing? Is a friend of yours or a colleague of yours, someone who is at the top or someone who is at the lower level? Is it upward communication or is it downward communication or is it horizontal communication? Equal kind of thing. Then you can use, you can be less formal. And the last one is, does this message preserve my identity? Is it doing any harm to my professional image? Which means all your learnings, all your experience, the words that you use, all that will come in there. So please make sure all these 3 things are very carefully maintained. So let's see. These are the 7 things that I want you to keep in mind when composing business messages. Let me start with number 1, the yellow one, the courtesy. Obviously, your documents need to have courtesy in it, the kinds of words. Let's see one by one, we will very quickly go through. But I'm going to take clarity and conciseness in somewhat detail. We'll do a little bit of exercises also. Clarity. Is your message clear? Conciseness or brevity, one may call it. Is it concise enough or is it too long? Business world does not have time to read long sentences, long letters. So therefore, to the point, how do you nicely say all that? Concreteness. Whenever you say something, the reader mustn't get the idea that, oh, he's not sure of what he's saying. You come to the next, the correctness. Obviously, it has to be factual. So concreteness and correctness, there's a subtle difference. Concrete is you are giving the message in a very solid way to the reader. Correct, obviously, you are not giving incorrect information. You are giving the correct information. Completeness, is your message, whatever you are writing, is it complete? So that's why if it's complete, the question of further information does not arise. So you need to assess your writing. Would this suffice? Will the person reading be satisfied with Ram's writing? And the last one is consideration. Now, courtesy is being courteous, being civil, being nice to people when you are writing. But consideration is you think of the reader's background and the whole lot. So that's these are the 7 C's that we will deal with, but clarity and conciseness certainly in detail. And then let us see what kind of exercise we can do. So quickly, courtesy I'm not going to take very much, just to say using a polite, conscientious and civil tone. Obviously, in business, you need to maintain this. There is no second word about it. So what does courtesy mean? Your ability to adhere to standards of etiquette, to behave civilly in a civil manner, and to demonstrate tact and emotional control. Now, please look at that sentence. I am maintaining parallelism. I will bring those things so that, it reinforces our learning. Your ability to adhere to standards of etiquette, number 1. To behave civilly, number 2, starts with 2. And the last one, to demonstrate tact and emotional control. So even when you write this kind of thing, please maintain parallelism. That is important because the reader then easily understand all what I'm trying to say. Right. So let's move from courtesy. I'm just keeping this for you to refer, but I'm going to take these very quickly. Clarity and conciseness, because we need to do a little bit of work. Easy to understand and act on. Easy to scan. So when I say scanning, when a book is well written, it's very easy to scan. I just scan through and then understand what the book says. So scanning. So any document that you write, if you have bullet points or whatever, paragraphs, very well done, short paragraphs, short sentences, easy to understand. So that's so the bottom line is, when your messages are clear, you are more likely to meet your instrumental goals as a communicator. Instrumental goal is conveying the message. Relational message is the maintaining of some relationship with the receiver. The third one is your professional image. So those are the 3 things in a message. So let's see. Now, let us try. Now, I have a small sentence, but it is not clear, but it's very impressive. To the reader, it's very impressive. So you are technical writing, this is what happens. Subsequent to the passage of the subject legislation, it is incumbent upon you, see the big words used unnecessarily, to advise your organization to comply with it. Now, I want you to try and give me a simpler version of this. It's a very simple idea here, but unnecessarily complicated. How will you make this simple? Let's see. Write and see, just write something and see. I want your ideas. See what he's trying to say. Subsequent to the passage of the subject legislation, right? It is incumbent upon you. Now, these are very simple things that you can say. to advise your organization. It is incumbent upon you to advise your organization. Can't you say this in a simple way? You can. To comply with it. So what will you say and how will you say? What do you say?
According to the law,
Right?
it is your responsibility to advise your organization to comply with it.
Right. According to the law. Or is it subsequent to the passage of the subject legislation? What do you mean by subsequent? After, right? After. So after passing a law, it is incumbent upon you to advise your organization. Absolutely, you're right. It's your responsibility to advise your people to adhere to it. That's what it means. So see what I have suggested, just see, after the law passes, you must tell your people to comply with it. Rather than saying that, I am saying it in a very impressive manner, but which lacks clarity. Not many people will understand. After the law passes, subsequent to the passage of the subject legislation, far too many words. You must tell your people, it is incumbent upon you. When you say incumbent, it means there's a responsibility on you. So you can just say you must tell your people or tell your organization to comply with it, to adhere to it. So that's what clarity means. So I'm going to take you through number of exercises like this, short ones. Let's see. So to get to clarity.
I want to ask one question.
Please do.
Yeah, since we are talking about business communication, don't you think that some special words are needed rather than making it very simple?
Well, I'm taking you to a very extreme end so that you can shift slightly from there, but certainly not the one that I now take these two sentences. One sentence is very, it looks very technical, no doubt. The other one is very simple. Uh,
Yeah.
let me tell you, try to be on the simple side, not on the very technical kind of sounding side. So business writing, if you really read through, what we are used to is very impressive writing. When we were asked to write essays in school, we used to write lengthy stuff. Unless you write lengthy stuff, you won't get marks. But in business, it's not the case. Business means you got to be very brief, but I'm not saying as simple as this. I'm taking you to an extreme just to show you how simple one could be, but certainly not the kind of stuff that is written here. It's 3-4 syllable words are not used. That's why I wanted you to read this book, because this is one of the best books to tell you that business writing means writing in a very simple way. So don't worry, write in a simple way, but I can guarantee you, your simple writing will go through rather than very impressive writing the way I have written here. So I have given you two extremes. But my suggestion to you is be closer to the one that I have given you as a expressive, clear one, rather than the one that is on the other one, impressive. It's very, very wordy, unnecessary words. Let's see some of the exercises and you will realize what I'm trying to tell you. Okay?
I have a question as well.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So, okay, does it mean so for business writing, we will try to keep it simple and clear and concise?
Yeah.
And when it goes to for our academic writing, for example, these assignments and reports, then we write and then we have to be like in a
No.
professional, no, not that way.
No,
Or
my dear, even in academic writing, you are expected to write in a simple manner. Please don't write the way I have shown you here. There is a misconception actually that academic write to be has to be high sounding. No, certainly not. How easy it is to understand when you are trying, when you give something very clearly. You are sending a message to your subordinates. What do you say? Is this one the one that is in red or the one that is in blue? Which will go through very easily?
so obviously the one that is in blue will go easily
Well,
on
they will
a
understand, isn't
yeah,
it?
on a layman language. Yeah.
But the one that is in red looks very, academic, impressive, high flung stuff. But that doesn't take you through. You are not conveying what you are trying to say. The whole idea of business writing is to convey a message, convey a point, convey something, a direction. Now, in academic writing, when you will be obviously be writing your field reports, we keep on telling them. Obviously, when you get to that level, you will be told once again. We keep on telling them, use simple words, use a technical word. If you are using, you need to explain. But if you can use a simple word, go ahead and use it. Don't use long sentences. They're not readable. A readability of a document is that it is easily understood. That's the whole purpose of business writing. And it is quite different from the essay writing that you and I did in school. Essay writing, it has to be high sounding, lengthy, flowery, you have roundabout construction. Let me take you through some of the stuff here and then you will realize. And if there are still you have questions, certainly ask me. I'm going to take you through with this. Clarity. We'll have 6 areas to talk about. Select appropriate words. Let's see what this is. Place words in an orderly sequence because it can create completely a misunderstanding. The third one. Now, we have this habit of starting sentences with it and there. Now, in business writing, this really developed during the last probably 15 to 20 years. The latest business writing books, you get this kind of thing. You can drop the word it, you can drop the word there when you start a sentence. Let's see what they are. Because they are only word fillers, there is no meaning in it. If you use it as a different part of a sentence, you have it meaning. I can say it for the book, that's a different matter. I can say there just to show a location. But to start a sentence, they have no meaning. Let's see. Position phrases correctly. A phrase is either a subject or a verb. You don't have both. But a clause is a sentence. Another word is a sentence, clause. You have a subject and a verb both. Then you have keep sentences short. Let's go through this very quickly, the 6 points. Now, appropriate words. Often we have this issue. We mix up. Now, these are called similar sounding words. If you see that last 2 bullet points, homophones. There is a set of words called homophones. What does that mean? Each of 2 or more words having the same pronunciation. Same pronunciation. Complement, complement, same pronunciation. One is with E, the other one is with I. E means something, I means another. So quite different. Homonym. Each of two or more words having the same spelling or pronunciation. You have the same spelling, pronunciation, maybe two different meanings in two different contexts. Now you have words like accept, except, exceed, exceed, affect, effect, they're quite different. It's IT apostrophe S is completely different. They're shortened from it is. Then you have this huge problem with lay and lie. I have given 2 slides. I'm not going to discuss that. We'll take time. Please take a look at it. You can use lie as a present tense. When I say I want to rest, I will say lie. But I can, and the past tense is lay. I lay on the bed. But that same past tense lay can be the present tense of a verb when I want to say place. I lay the book on the table. I lay tiles on the floor. Then it's the present tense. And that past tense is laid. So just to very quickly to show you that, I will also go through that. Personal, personnel, complement, career, career. Oh my God, how people make this mistake. I have seen it number of times, people writing CARRIER when they are talking about their career, meaning their employment history. Missed. Now, some of these words will not be shown by your spell checker, unfortunately. I can show you enough and more instances where the spell checker has failed, and therefore your document is also not correct. Right, let's see. So very quickly, I'm going to lie and lay. I'm not going into detail, but just to tell you, don't worry about intransitive and transitive. Those are technical terms. Intransitive means a verb does not need an object. If I say it rains, it doesn't need an object. But I can say, I read the book. The word read or read needs an object, the book. So then it becomes transitive. So depending on the use, don't worry about that. I didn't want to miss it. I just wanted to give it to you. Now I use the word lie, present tense, meaning to rest. The past is lay. Past participle is lain. Like, I have gone. So I said it has lain. Present participle, lying. I am lying on the bed. That's what it means. But then I use the other one, lay, as a present tense, meaning to place. I lay the report on the table. I laid the report on the table. Past tense, I have laid the report on the table. I am laying the report on the table. So that's completely different. So you have lie, lay coming into play. Please understand, I have given number of sentences in the next few slides, so I'm not going to go through all that. Then you have another problem which these days in Sri Lanka, this is quite popular. What the politicians are saying, they lie. Isn't it? They lie. And that past tense is lied. That's completely a different lie. So you have lie, lay, you have lay, laid, then you have lie and lied. So each must be used very carefully. Very carefully. That is the understanding that you should have, because you are business writers. You can't afford to miss any of these words. Right, let's move. So I'm going to, all this is for you to take a look at, all that is with you. So I'm not going to go into all that. Let's go to the next point. Place words in an orderly sequence. What does this mean? When you use a pronoun, we often do this. I can show you enough and more sentences people write. You must ensure that the pronoun you are using, you know what pronouns are. Words like he, I, me, we, you, all these are pronouns, personal pronouns. It refers to the proper antecedent, meaning the proper word that you have said before. You say two words. Look at this sentence. Peter saw his brother. You have Peter and you have brother. While he was entering the restaurant. My question to you, does he refer to Peter or to Peter's brother?
It's Peter.
Does everybody say it's Peter?
Could be
You
both.
can refer both in that case.
That's the point. So this kind of sentence, when you are using a pronoun he, be absolutely clear that you are referring either to Peter, if you want to say Peter, if it is Peter's brother, the reader must be very clear. Because the reader has no chance to ask you, did you refer to Peter or to Peter's brother? Just imagine in any of these books, if that kind of sentence is written, are we going to contact William Zinsser? No, we can't. We don't know where he is. So make sure that reference is made absolutely clear. So I can only say the only way you can do this is say Peter is the person that you are referring to. While Peter was entering the restaurant, he saw his brother. Perfect. The other one, it's a brother. Peter saw his brother who was entering the restaurant. No question about it. Very clear. So there is no ambiguity. The reader is very clear. Let's see. I'm going to look at this sentence. The programmer told the student that he had changed his password. Now, God knows who this is. Is it the who changed? Whose password? I don't know. Is it the student or the programmer? So this kind of sentence should not be written. I'm referring to the quality of clarity. So clarity, we looked at select appropriate verbs, place words in an orderly sequence. So there is no sequence here, no proper sequence. Let's move. Now, I'm getting to the third one. I told you the word it. I'm doing this a little bit fast because you know these things, but I want to make sure that it is fully understood by each of you. It, an indefinite reference, it causes the reader to search for a correct meaning. With a minimum of effort, you can state exactly what you mean and limit the use of it. Now you have this sentence. After the symphony ends, it is time for the audience to applaud. Now, I want you to write a sentence without using it, but keep in the meaning. What are the things that you need to maintain? It is after once the symphony is over, that the audience can applaud, the audience can clap. That's a etiquette in any symphony kind of presentation. If you go to an opera or whatever, you will wait until the act is over. Otherwise, in the middle of it, you don't know, you don't disturb. So what is how will you write this without using it? I'm getting you to do something very, very new. Try to drop this it. And next slide will be try to drop there. How you can do it? How will you write this?
Audience will upload at the end of the symphony.
So very easy. Audience will applaud at the end of the symphony. Or you can say after the symphony ends, if you want to keep this same thing like this, after the symphony ends, audience may applaud. Audience can applaud. You don't even have to say it is time for the. You are using an unnecessary set of words. So this is what I'm trying to get at. How do you make your writing simple? Now, you will use all this when you get to the exercise that I want to do at the end of the class. Right. Then the next sentence, how will you correct? It is recommended that you label your clothes.
It is recommended to label your clothes.
Why do you want to say it is recommended? I'm saying drop it without using it. How will
Label.
you?
A waterproof marker can be used to mark the clothes.
Waterproof marker can be used to label your clothes. So you can say label your clothes with a
Label your
waterproof
clothes.
marker. Yeah, please.
Okay.
So the audience should applaud or may applaud. The next one is please label your clothes with a waterproof marker. So my assertion, what I'm trying to get at is that when every sentence is simplified the way that we are talking about, your whole writing becomes simple. These are the techniques of making your sentences simple without getting used to lengthy, unnecessary word fillers. That's the whole purpose. Look at this. There are 6 steps you can use to ensure message clarity. How will you drop there?
You can use 6 steps to ensure
You
your
can
message clarity.
use simple. You can use 6 steps to ensure message clarity. The word there is of no use. The next, there will be a staff meeting at 2 p.m. today.
Staff meeting.
Staff meeting will
Yeah.
be held at 2 p.m.
Staff meeting will be held at 2 p.m. The staff will meet at 2 p.m. today. So several ways of doing it. So this is much improved, much better than the earlier sentence. You won't understand this because you are the writer. Think of becoming a reader. Much easier to understand. Right. Now, this is called, the phrase is not positioned correctly. It can sound very funny. What is the problem in the first one? John has a thick head of brown hair. What is thick? Head or the hair?
Head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hair. Now I have thin hair. You have thick hair. I don't have a thick head and you have a thin head. No, we have the same heads, right? But it's a hair that is not thick and thin. So it has to be very clear. John has a head of thick brown hair. So even one word can make your writing bad. I'm taking some extreme examples just to show you so that you will remember. Look at the next sentence. Dr. Brown wrote the letter while flying from Washington to Los Angeles on the back of an envelope. These are called misplaced modifiers, wrongly placed. That whole thing is wrongly placed. What is wrongly placed here?
While flying from should come at the start.
Exactly. While flying from Washington to Los Angeles, Dr. Brown wrote the letter on the back of an envelope. So please make sure that your modifier is at the correct point, never at the wrong point. This is one huge area of business writing that I deal with. Dangling and misplaced modifiers. The modifier is misplaced. I mean, I'm only giving some simple examples, but I can show you examples which is completely contrary to the meaning that you have in your mind. So that's not what we want to do. All right, let's move. So this one. Now, this is an entire kind of, it's not a phrase, it's a sentence. The posture chair fell on my leg, which had metal rollers. What had metal rollers? Yeah.
The posture chair with metal rollers fell on my leg.
Right. The posture chair with which had metal rollers fell on my leg. So that's a very simple one. And the next, Anne placed the shoe on her broken foot that she had just bought. What did she just buy? The foot or the shoe? I can't buy a foot, but I can buy a shoe. So how will you correct this?
And place a new shoe on her broken foot.
And
place the
place the
broken
shoe.
foot.
No, you have to say and place the shoe that she had just bought. Keep the same thing. I'm only asking you to shift it here and there. And place the shoe that she had just bought on her broken foot. That is a very, very simple thing, right? Now, these are examples just to give you an idea. So clarity, the last point that I want to make is keep sentences short. We looked at a number of things. All those things are with you, so I'm not going to in detail. State your message in the least possible number of words. That is business writing. Most sentences range from 13 to 20 words. The average one contains 16 words. So ideal one could be around that, 16, 17, 18, right? Then you should combine words into sentences that show concern for the reader and that are easy to understand. So that is clarity. Let's move. I want to take you to very quickly to the exercise. Conciseness means saying what you need to say in as few words as possible. If I can use 3 words, why should I use 5 words? That's the whole idea, right? When you write with brevity, which means briefly, not abruptness, your messages remain both concise and courteous. That's a quality. Critique your writing. Make every word meaningful. If you read this book, and I want you to read this, then no better way to understand writing. It says, if you take off all unnecessary words from your writing, keep the bare minimum just to give the message. That is business writing. This is what Sincere says in this particular book. Conciseness is the prerequisite to effective business communication. So basically, this is what I want to say. But here is our exercise. Eliminate unnecessary words. Number 2, select action verbs and efficient verbs. There are sometimes verbs which will convey the meaning very clearly. Use necessary modifiers, not unnecessary modifiers. Don't use adjectives unnecessarily. Don't use adverbs unnecessarily. That's what. Write in the active voice. Now, this is something that I want you to please remember. Business writing, they have found, if you use active voice, now I use active voice, let me say, I read the book. Passive voice, the book was read by me. Now, the reader wants to know who read the book rather than what was done. Occasionally, you might have to write a sentence in the passive voice. Please go ahead and do it, no problem. But not regularly. Don't write 5 passive voice sentences and 1 active voice. Rather, it should be 4 active voice and 2 passive voice if the paragraph has 6 sentences. That's a kind of formula that I would recommend. Okay, so we will do this. Now, here is a short note before you. I want you to make it clear and concise. Far too many unnecessary words. How will you correct this? You can cut certain words so that you can compare with what I show you and see to what extent you could make this easy to read. Now, the whole idea is keep the meaning. Keep the meaning of this paragraph. See what this person has done. He's talking about something he has done and explaining it. Explain it with the least number of words, but don't miss out any points. How will you do it? All right, go ahead. Need about 5 to 6 minutes to do this. Read it carefully. Drop certain words which you can drop, then we will compare. I will show you what I have done so that I'll explain why I cut those words. That's a learning that we will have.
You want to turn the entire idea in a different format, right? Is it like that?
No. Now, if you are given this, let me put it this way. Say someone, you dictate this, all right? You dictate this to a secretary or someone. So the secretary brings a draft to you, but you want to refine this. Refine it in a way that certain unnecessary words can be taken off, which you will understand once we explain this whole thing, but I'm sure you can spot. And then in modern business writing, then you will realize, these are all redundant words, unnecessary. I'm using words unnecessarily when I can say it in 3 words, I'm using 5, 6 words. That's the purpose. So you're not changing the format, but Rather, chopping and cutting and, deleting certain words, maybe you delete 3 words and maybe add 1 word. That's what you want to do. So how will you make it clear and concise? That is what you call editing. So you are doing an editing job, right?
So the idea should be in order, same order.
Idea, keep the same idea. Keep the same idea. Don't change the order, right?
Okay.
Order must be, right. Great. Let's see. Okay, just to give an idea, now look at the first sentence. Now, this is the kind of thing that you should not have in your writing. This is a short note to let you know that. Now, when you read through this, someone, after doing an investigation, is writing this. There is no need for you to make an announcement that you are writing it. In business writing, this has to be avoided. but this is what we have been used to. So learn as much as possible to avoid that kind of unnecessary introductions. You don't need. This is a short note to let you know that can be chopped off, can be deleted. And the whole thing can start as you requested, or even as requested, better as you requested, because I request and you are writing as you requested. So you start with as you requested, and then the rest of it, try to see how you could correct. So my first suggestion is that this is a short note to let you know that can go.
Professor, can we say please be informed as requested?
Say that again.
Please be informed as requested.
Don't. That's a very archaic phrase that we have been using. Please be informed. Why? You are informing, no? You are saying, what are you doing? You are informing. So the thing that you need to do is, you requested me. I am using my courtesy and saying, as you requested, I am writing this whole thing. So look at the whole thing in what the year report that he is submitting.
Professor, we can start like
Yep.
As per your request, this short note refers to
one thing I just want to suggest to you. Try to avoid using as per your request. Once again, it's unnecessary. You can say as you requested is a much better way. Per your request, and all that is what is called burying the verb. As you requested. We will come to what is called burying the verb. We often have this habit of saying, rather than saying implement, I would say the implementation of. Rather than saying discuss, I would say the discussion of. Don't have to do that. So you have requested, don't make it as per your request. So not necessary. Just say as you requested. Rest of it, try to see what you can do. See, I will put up on the board what I have done. So let us compare and see. By doing this paragraph, you will probably learn a whole lot of things about eliminating unnecessary words, reducing redundancies, and then making your writing very sharp, concise, and what is called, very to the point. So we will
Mr. Virudang, I have a question not about this one, about Sunday.
yeah.
Is it your class on Sunday?
No.
That we are.
No, my dear. Sunday is Mr. Disanayak. Negotiate.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Sunday 6 p.m. Right. Okay, my dear. Let's see what I have suggested. Let's see. Now, this is how this paragraph could be made better. Becomes very clear. So the first sentence goes, this is a short note to let you know that as. I made it in red, chop it off. Then you start with as you requested. Now, come to a very important point here, the next one. I made an investigation of. This is what is called the burying of the verb. You bury the verb. The verb is investigate. Investigate. I bury the verb and say investigation of. This is to be avoided in all circumstances. Investigation of. This is much preferred by the reader. Verb is always preferred to a noun. So please make sure that you don't do this. So I have I made an investigation of means I investigated. So simple. 4 words I am taking and using one word, investigated. Several of our competitors' websites. Fine. Now, if you read some of the old correspondence and letters, I am sure you would see, and companies are still writing, I don't know why, business writing demands that you don't use this kind of phrase, attached here to or attached here with. Simply say attached. Or I am attaching. If you are writing a letter, I am attaching. I am attaching a brochure. Don't say attached here with is my company brochure. Attached here with is not used anymore at all. We discourage people using this. So as
which is attached, no?
Please attach. Oh, so here it is. Attached is a summary of my findings. Or I am attaching a summary of my findings. Both are right. I just used what as it is without doing much change. Attached is a summary of my findings. So anything that you find after an investigation would be findings. So you don't have to say findings of my investigation. They are called redundant words. When you do an investigation, the result is findings, results. So you don't have to say findings of my investigation. So those words.
Can we say I found 1, 2, 3 like that?
Perfect. If you want to make it that way, yes. I found the following. Excellent. I found the following. I just wanted to use this to show you where I can cut. But what you say, I fully agree. I found the following, right? And then put 1, 2, 3. It is 1, 2, 3 here. Let us see. Then you come to, I was really most interested. What do you mean really most interested? I was most interested. Now see, the entire sentence can go. Making a comparison of the employment of strategies for can be comparing. That whole phrase is gone. Comparing. You don't make a comparison. You rather compare. Comparing marketing strategies, you bring the word strategies there, as well as navigational graphics to guide visitors through the sites. That's what I have been looking at. I have looked at the marketing strategies and I have looked at navigational graphics. So,
Mr. Virutu, is it not repetition? I removed actually that complete sentence because you are saying the same thing at the end.
Say that again.
Is that not repetition? It is not repeating itself because in the middle, what you're saying is at the end as well. So I took that middle sentence completely out.
Okay.
And I said, as we plan to revise our website soon, I was interested in the organization, marketing tactics, and navigation on each site.
At each site. Okay. Right. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Right. So you're making it really, really short and nice. So taking that off, I was really most interested in all that you are saying. But finally, you have to use something to say that you compared. You need to say that. The fact that you compared must be somewhere in the paragraph, as long as you say that, and then say, I was intrigued by the organization, marketing tactics, and navigation at each site I visited. Perfect. I agree. I have no problem with it. As long as you say that you had compared, because I wanted you to do this and you are saying, yes, I compared all these things and this is what I saw, right? So basically, if you compare this with what I gave you earlier, whole heap of words can go. And that leads me to another presentation which I have sent you. please take a look at it, because rather than going through all that, much better to do this kind of thing, where you will learn a lot. Now look at the next. In view of the fact that can go, we don't use these things anymore, despite the fact that all those things are archaic uses, not in modern writing. Straightforward usage, because we will be revising or whatever. In the near future can be just one word, soon. So the word extremely intrigued, the word intrigued is extremely surprised. So you don't have to say extremely intrigued, that is double. Intrigued is extremely surprised. So you're saying extremely surprised. So just say intrigued by the organization, marketing tactics, and navigation. So Nandana, what do you finally say? I like that. What you said.
I wrote it as I investigated our competitors' websites on your request, and a summary is attached.
Right.
As we plan to revise our website soon, I was interested in a comparison of the organization, marketing tactics, and navigation.
Please stop there. Please stop there. I would even improve that. That's very nice. I was interested in comparing. Don't say in the comparison of.
Yeah,
you can
compare.
In comparing, fine. In comparing
the organization,
marketing
tactics, and navigation on each side.
There you are. Now see the art of editing. Excellent. I'm fully with you. So I only suggested this just to show you some of the things that can go. You can make anything that we write absolutely very succinct and very readable. So the one that is here and the one that we saw earlier, there's a world of a difference. From a reader's point of view. Simple, easy to understand. What you are saying quite upfront. All right, let's move. I want you to.
Sir, I have one question, Professor.
Please do. Yeah.
The sentence that you remove, making a comparison of employment strategies. So is it essential to keep?
Say that again.
So is it essential to keep this part, or we can remove it?
You can remove it. You can remove it. As long as you are telling the reader or the person who is given this task to you, I have compared. I am comparing needs to be said somewhere. Because, otherwise it's just if you say these are the three things that I saw, that means you have not done any comparison of competitors' websites. But you need to tell me that you have done it. So don't lose important points in your writing. Keep them, but make it short. Okay. Right. That's it. Yes. Let's do some more. Now, all these things are with you, so I'm not going to do a lot. Now, wordy phrases can be dropped like this, where we say maximum possible, return back, exactly identical. These are all stuff that can be what I call doublet phrases. Same thing you are saying. Each and every, as I had told you earlier. So let's move. Now, I'm going into concreteness, all that we will do. I'll leave this with you. Just read this. Don't have to say much, but I want to take one. Completeness. Let me do this. All right, let's take this. All this is for you to just take a look at it. Just read it. You will understand. Now, let's do this. Now, this paragraph, this is a bit of a interesting one. The following paragraph contains 158 words. By omitting redundancies, meaning you are using the same thing, say each and every is a redundancy. Expletive constructions, unnecessary explanations, like, extremely intrigued is an expletive construction. Meaningless announcements. I am writing to announce, that kind of thing, that sentence which went away, those are unnecessary announcements. Unnecessary prepositions, words like of, by, and all that sometimes can be dropped and made things simpler. And prepositional phrases, phrases that start with prepositions like of, in, at, and all that. You should be able to revise the paragraph so that it contains no more than 88 words. That's that's given this thing 80. If you are 95, 100, perfect. I'm okay even with 100 words. You may change a few words if you like, but don't change the meaning of any statements. That's critical. That's the art of editing. Keep working until you trim the paragraph to about 88 words. So let me say 100 words. So you are taking 58 words off if you can bring it to about 100 words. So please try. Please try. So the first one I'm telling you, in my own personal opinion, what you are writing is your personal opinion. Never say this. In my own personal opinion is something that we don't use in business writing. But if you are comparing it with someone else's point of view, that is a different one. You say, your point is this, my point is this. That's a different issue. Here, that is not what you are saying. You are giving your thoughts here. So start taking off in my own personal opinion can go. And the rest of it, please see. Please do a editing and see. Let's see. We learn a lot here. That's the best way to learn. Eliminating unnecessary words. Don't lose the meaning. Keep the meaning, but make it short.
What I have seen. Wait, this is excellent.
See, let's see what I gave you a little bit of time. I gave a little bit of time to digest this whole thing, understand, obviously read this very carefully, and then start making it better. That's the whole purpose. So when you learn this kind of thing, you know where to chop and where to edit. So once you, let's take about another 2 or 3 minutes, I'll give what I feel is a better version. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see. I want to suggest, let's see how you compare with what I have done. Now, this is what I would suggest. In my own personal opinion, that kind of thing can go. Never do this kind of thing. Don't use it in your writing. you could, I thought I should keep. I believe that all amusement park roller coasters should be thoroughly inspected. Required to undergo thorough and complete inspections can be reduced to thoroughly inspected once they reach 15 years. You have to say that 15 years you need to do. So you don't have to say once they have reached the old age of no, once they reach 15 years. From what time? Yeah, please.
So that 15 years is coming down as well. It's repeating. So do we need to keep that 15 years above as well? It's down also in the para it's coming down also, it's mentioned.
Okay. But I thought
so we can take that 15 years.
At the beginning, you need to say this. That's a different one, no? We are saying and regulations that 15-year roller coaster should be refurbished with safer. That's something else, isn't it? What this says is it has to be inspected once it reaches 15 years. So we may have to keep it, otherwise you lose the meaning. Right? Let's see. We'll read it and then we will chop again. From what I have seen and read, my understanding is that, my experience, my understanding. Experience may not be relevant here. So my understanding is that most roller coaster accidents that tend to occur on can be reduced to involving older ones. You don't even have to say older steel roller coasters. We have said it earlier. Ones are due to bad maintenance. That whole lot can be traced due to poor, inadequate, is bad maintenance. Just bad maintenance, right? Then the engineering technology of old should be considered obsolete and out of date. All that can go because of obsolete technology. Amusement parks should be forced to comply with. The word strict also can go. Safety rules are rules. Anyway, whether it is strict or whatever, they are safety rules. Safety rules and regulations, two different things, rules and regulations, that revolve around the idea, all that can go, that 15-year-old roller coasters should be, all that can go, refurbished with safer mechanical parts. So the whole lot goes, reach 15 years of age, should be taken apart and put back together with newer, better, more technologically sound. So my suggestion is that all that can be reduced to a few words, refurbished with mechanical parts. Then you say, current standards of roller coaster safety must urgently be legalized. Rather than saying made a federal law, legalized as citizen safety is the federal government's responsibility. So the amount of words come down drastically, and I think what I have done is it has come down to 80 words. So what I was trying to tell you, no, I'll post this. I will also post this tonight or tomorrow morning on the portal. I have given another exercise which you should do on your own. Do it first, and then compare it with my answer. I will put it maybe together. With already have done that earlier one. So take a look at this. And
Mr. Veeratunga, this
yes.
How critical is this first three words? I believe that can we remove these three also, because anyway this will be an article written by somebody. We can.
Yeah.
It's not critical to keep this, right? I believe that
we can start with. That's why by starting, when I started, I said that although I want to keep it, it can also go. So all that can go. That also can go. All amusement park roller coasters should be thoroughly inspected. All right. So we will take, I believe, also talk out. So that's fine. All amusement park roller. So let me come to some kind of understanding with you. The purpose of business writing is to avoid unnecessary construction of words, unnecessary, double kind of meanings giving like each and every, what are called redundant words. Words that start with the preposition and, go on and on. Verbs that are made into nouns rather than saying implement, I am saying implementation of. So whole heap of things can make your writing much better. That's what you need to be aiming at. So now let me come to, because all these things have to finally end up as an exam. What shall we do at the exam? Now, I've done 3 sessions with you. One, I did mechanics of grammar, that is pronouns, subject-verb agreement, parallelism. Now, these are all mechanics of writing, right? Which you have to master. There can't be any flaw in those. Then I explained to you how your writing could be very professional by looking at few criteria, the 7 C's. That's an area that you need to be mindful of. The third that although I have not presented, is I have sent you a presentation of elimination of unnecessary words where I cover all this. So rather than going through that, I put you through a test, getting you to edit and making something very concise, nice, and precise. Now, you need to do the other exercise, which put it down. Let me just show you that, and then I will post the answer also there. This is what I posted today, and I sent a WhatsApp message because suddenly I thought these are things that you should be doing so that it's a. Okay. Now that's right. All right. So let me nice exercise again. Underline the wordy parts of the following paragraph. Then rewrite the paragraph on a separate page. That's okay. Even if you chop here, there, that's okay. Reduce the wordiness. But be sure you include all the information from the original. Count how many words are in the revised version. Compare the word counts of the original and revised versions. This says 187 words. What I did, I brought it down to about 120. I'm sure you could also do something very close to it or even better, like the ones that you suggested. Do it. Do it, and then we will. I will send you the suggested answer. Right. Now, talking about the exam. Now, you have 2 exam-oriented things. One is your multiple choice questions. It is a 1-hour exam where you are given 40 multiple choice questions. Everybody will not get the same because it comes out of a pool automatically. So someone will get some, but they come from these areas. Just to what are the areas that we will test you on? Pronouns. The kinds of questions that you all did. Nothing else. I can't give you anything else because they cover the entirety of pronouns. So you will select the correct word. Right. Number 2. Subject-verb agreement. You have done nearly, both put together, you have done nearly 100 multiple choice questions. Third, parallelism. These are the 3 areas in which you will be tested on a multiple choice question. 40 questions, which will give you 20% of the total marks. Right? 20% of the total marks. 50% will come from the exam. 30% you have earned with Mr. Gunatilaka. You have done group presentations. Now, again, for you to be comfortable, then you need to be really comfortable in doing this. I am going to post a typical multiple choice set of questions on parallelism. Others you have gone through. Subject-verb agreement you have gone through. You have gone through the pronouns. I will put about 10 parallelism questions, how I test you. So I will give one sentence. I will give another sentence. So they will A and B. Let me put it this way. I will show you how it is. So A will be one sentence. B, slightly change the same sentence. And answer will be, the parallel one will be actually B. So you have to select whether A or B is parallel. So it's a parallelism. That's how we check on your knowledge. So there'll be a mix. So there'll be some pronoun questions, there'll be some subject-verb agreement questions, and there will be parallelism questions. So those 40 questions can easily be answered within 1 hour. You don't take more than a minute to answer some of the pronoun questions, subject verb. Maybe parallelism, you might see, what is this? Okay. Immediately you will see the parallel sentence. Immediately. There's no question. We have gone through all this. So you will have things like either or neither, no, not only, but also whether they are parallel or not, you can check. So that's your this thing. Now exam, final exam, I will probably give 2 questions. One, around, I can't say exactly what it is, around the 7 C's of writing, around. So you might have to read about 7 C's, the slides that I have given you, just read and have an understanding. I'm not going to ask you what are the 7 C's, obviously not. That's such a straightforward question. But I will just maybe something where you apply, I will ask. Certainly, I will give a paragraph like this, a paragraph that I've worked with you here, which will not take more than 30 minutes, certainly not, asking you, this paragraph has about 185 words, reduce it to somewhere 120 or whatever. That might be a good 30-minute question, because each question is about 36 minutes. Very easy. So both are very examinable areas. So please master this. Now I want you to, for you to master the art of doing this. You have done this very well in class. You did it with me. But I want to very quickly suggest another one which you need to read so that you will be very comfortable. Eliminating wordiness.
So, Mr. Virtuga, so these 2 questions is going to be compulsory questions. Is it?
Well, I think one will be compulsory, one will not be. Right? One is a choice. One will be a compulsory question from me, another compulsory question from Mr. Gunatilaka. The rest of it, the 3 other questions will be choice. All right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Let me, I wanted to make sure that you have this show you this so that just give me a moment.
अब इनाम question other than that.
I posted this on the portal. Now, this is a good theoretical, but very practical, of course, background to what you did. So my approach was I let you do an edit rather than saying what needs to be edited, and you learn quite a lot. Now, this covers a number of things, revise for conciseness of professional documents, improve clarity in professional messages. But what does it cover? Let me very quickly go through this. For three things, conciseness, clarity, and readability of your writing. So it covers how do you eliminate flabby expressions? Please go through the presentation. It will be well worth because it covers your exam question also. Drop unnecessary introductory words, which we did. Get rid of redundancies, also which you did in editing. And then purge empty words. So that's one. And then, of course, a whole heap of things which will give you, rather than saying at a later date, what will you say and all that. So all that is there. And then I'm going to send I haven't given the answers to my what I have posted. So I'm going to post what I am presenting now to the portal. So take a look at that. This is what will, so here you will see let me very quickly take you through. Clarity and conciseness. Here are the other things to see. Techniques that improve clarity include keep it short and simple, dumping tried business phrases, avoiding cliches and slang, controlling exuberance. You know, sometimes we talk in very, very high terms. You don't need to in business writing. Rescuing buried verbs. All that will be here. Choosing clear, precise words. So I will also, with all these examples, I will present or rather upload what you should read. So once you read this, in addition to what we did in class, also just do that little exercise which I gave you. I will also post the answer so that you have a whole heap of things to understand what editing and what concise, clear writing is. And so your exam will be obviously a paragraph, maybe about 185 words, where you will need to do chopping. So I can, a very objective question. It doesn't have to be exactly what I have with me. I will go through what you have presented and let it be very creative. So in that, I'm telling you, don't change the main key points. Keep them as they are, but rewrite it in a way that gives you a concise answer. All right. So that's what we will do for the exam, which will be on the 28th, right? 28th of September?
Yeah. Yeah, 28.
28th. So you have roughly about a week to look at all this. All right.
Mr. Vyadunga, two questions from my side. Now, this MCQ opening the window, can we suggest to you from 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. 12 on 27th, or do I have to write to Mr. Anapura
No, I
seeking
will,
his time?
I will tell Mr. Anapura and let him confirm, right? I will
Right,
send him.
okay.
So just
Okay,
a moment.
and
Just a moment. I'll just take it. What's your suggestion? Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Right. You said 27th September, and what's the frame that you need? 7 p.m.
this, yeah, the UA time, 7 p.m. till 12.
7 p.m. UAE time, right?
Yeah.
All right, 7 to 12 UAE time. I will tell you. So
Secondly,
we will,
on the 28th, we need to know the timing, time of the starting of the exam.
Mr. Annapura will upload that information that he normally
Yeah,
does.
so,
Right?
so on the 7Cs, I have a question. Now, for example, if it is concise, can a question be something like display a concise notice to your employer, giving something, or a letter to a customer, or something like that.
So you are giving the game away. You are asking the question so that I can't give that question anymore. No, now those are the 7 principles of business writing, right? So if
Yeah.
my task would be to check whether you have understood the application of it. That's it.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Right. So obviously, I'm not going to ask what are the 7 C's, or you can look at the book and write the 7 C's. No, I'm going to ask how would you apply this. So let me see how I will craft that question. All right.
Yeah.
So,
So, Mr. Viratunga, sorry.
Tell me.
Oh, Fawad,
Okay.
Fawad, go ahead.
Okay. Doctor, you said that one more important thing is this punctuation and commas and these areas.
Yeah.
Which we are not doing because of the time limitations.
Yes.
We just want to ask whether do you have any for the previous session, recorded session on this one, so that at least we can see that and benefit on that.
No, I can do this. I can do this. What I can do is I will upload a good presentation. You can just browse through.
Okay, that's good because what we felt is very important all this while. So
my God, I will certainly do that. My dear, the entire business communication, the gamut of things that you need to do is huge areas that you need to cover. If you are interested in learning these things, I am so much willing to share those things with you. Obviously, that's not a problem, right?
Okay.
So we will do that. So I will present. I will upload a presentation on punctuation.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Very good.
And Mr. Viratunga,
Yes.
also I would like to ask, because as we are passionate about this, the professional writing, and we want to build into obviously your level. So are there any materials that we can reference in future that we can do the studies and all those things? Like you referred that book on writing well.
So let me, if you gentlemen and lady, you are willing, I can suggest things through our WhatsApp group, right? Maybe some certain things I can share. We can even form an email group later, even after the course. Please, if you are keen on improving your professional writing, the world is yours. There's so many that I can share with you, right? Certainly, I will.
That would be great then. So kind of you.
No problem. Will Asanka, will you take the responsibility of just dropping an email to me? Because you know my email, right? It's on the slide. So just drop an email and say, following up on this thing, we are willing to just do this, so that is a kind of a reference where I can, I won't forget, right? Okay.
Mr. Viratunga, sorry, Asanka, go ahead, Asanka, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mr. Viratunga, in today's lesson, you said you keep things very simple as possible. Now say 2 words like exorbitant, mandatory. How do you rate? Is it not simple? Is it? I mean, you have to further downgrade to simple.
Rizwan, my point is this. You see, it all depends on the context in which you are using these things. If you are writing to an audience which feels comfortable with simpler words, do so. If you are writing to an audience which you think is again, it's a judgment, no, writing is a judgment. Somewhat educated and all, then using the costs are exorbitant. It is a fine way of saying it. I don't deny that. I don't deny it, right? But to a very simple group, might say the costs are too high, right? Same. So it depends on the group to which you are writing. Certainly, those words, mandatory, exorbitant, there's so many other words which you can use, and don't drop them. Don't drop them. Right? Okay? But always think this. To whom am I writing this? Who will read this? will that person be more comfortable reading costs are too high, or will they be okay with if I say costs are exorbitant, right? But a normal person may not understand the gravity of being exuberant or exorbitant or whatever. That's a fairly, high-flung word. But not to a certain audience. But to a normal audience, yes, certainly. Now, if I'm a normal consumer, right, I would like to say, I like to see costs are too high rather than costs are exorbitant. Okay.
Mr. Veeratunga, I have something to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, like since you have completed business communication with us, correct? This is the
Yes.
last. Yeah,
Yes.
are we going to meet you again in any of the other courses?
Probably. I have not been doing much because of my workloads. I have, not like you gentlemen. I'm not young. I am at 74. I need to know what I need to be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. So I don't take on too much. I just take on what I can do. I normally do. I sometimes do 1 or 2 lectures on leadership. I might do a little bit on organizational behavior. Those probably might be in time to come.
Okay. In that case, so if we want any help from you, can we WhatsApp you personally or in the group? Which is your preferred mode?
Whatever. Even if you send me personally, that's fine. Even in the WhatsApp group, that's okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Reaching me is not a problem at all. I will certainly do whatever I can. I will only be too glad.
Mr. Veeratung, I think what Firas said is very valid point. This is exactly the same what also tried to tell. Can we form, maybe we can ask Rizwan, our team leader, to form a WhatsApp group for us to, it's like a forum, maybe we can ask things in future, so which would help. Also, we can share the important things in that group.
Please
that
do.
will benefit everyone, yeah.
Please do that and add my number and then we will go ahead.
Yeah.
I am okay. I'm quite okay.
I suggest.
Yes.
On a lighter note, I suggest to add Sajid Premadas also.
He was
We can learn.
much junior to me in the same school that I studied, but I don't know from where he had learned all that. I haven't learned all that from my school. They taught me very simple stuff.
No, your strategy is very well valid on him also, because some audiences he makes it so complicated. I don't know. This is my personal reading.
Badly advised.
Yeah.
It's bad advice because don't blame leaders. You have people around you who are speech writers, who are point givers, who are researchers. All these people have a whole heap of guys to do these kinds of things. They are the people who should be advising the leader to say, when you address an audience, if you don't think of the audience, you are not a good communicator. The whole purpose of your communicating is to convey a point to as many as possible in that audience. So the moment you start using, which I call katakadena vachana, you are in a mess. You are in a mess. You must use simple words. And I was just telling my colleague here, Rumit, who helps me to set up all this. We see often people coming on TV, they come on, say Rupavahini or IT, it's a Sinhalese discussion. I'm telling you this. They have studied all their life in Sinhalese. They're talking to a Sinhala audience. Similarly, it can be to a Tamil audience, right? Now, when you talk to a Sinhala audience, the moment you start using English words, then I'm giving a typical sentence. Then Balanda, now this happens, say, Rupavahini, National Rupavahini, morning show, usually housewives, people who are at home will be watching you. It says, Ape health ek hundin tiaganda, ape honda strategies pavichchi karanno. God knows who will understand those words. People at home, they don't. Why the hell can't that person say, Ape saukya hundin pavatva ganda, ape honda krama vidi pavichchi karanno. people will understand. So I can just watch and say, what's wrong with these characters? They simply don't know to whom. Either they are trying to show that they know English, which is absolutely a failed attempt. That's not the way to show that you know English. But you are talking to an audience which is purely Sinhalese or purely Tamil, and you are mixing English words. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing that happens here. So I will just, so basics of mass communication is completely lost on them. Either you must, I am someone who has been in many TV discussions. I never use an English word because that's not what you are there for.
Sir, my last request is if this IT gentleman can upload this session immediately as quickly as possible in the portal, it will be very helpful for us, Mr. Virthanga.
Which session? Which the ones that I
today's session? Yeah, today's session. It can be uploaded as quickly as possible.
Right.
It will be really helpful for us.
Uploaded me. Okay. We will get it. We will tell you. We will tell you to do that. Right. Okay.
And also, Mr. Virthanga, the exercises that we did in the previous classes, the answers.
Yeah.
Was it uploaded in the portal? I'm not sure about it.
Oh.
The previous classes, the exercises. So we attempted those ones. So some are wrong. We got 6 out of 12.
Okay,
likewise.
Okay. Let me just check. Just let me. No, I have to upload it, which I will do tomorrow morning. Which I will do.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
So all the
Yeah.
so what
that
I'm going to do.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, pull out the slides which have the exercises and the answers, and just say, okay, subject verb agreement. These are the slides. These are the answers, and upload it. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Great. Okay. All the very best to you.